Are we rolling? Yes, we are. What's up, guys? Your boy McKinley Crain here. Today I'm going to be doing my spoiler-free movie review of the movie I just watched, which was the 2010 film, the 2010 British-American film, The King's Speech. So this is a historical drama that's based on a true story. It's based on actual events. That stars Colin Firth as Prince Albert, aka Bertie. He was a Prince of England back in the mid to late 1930s. Well, that's when this movie is mostly. That's when this movie takes place in the 1930s. So yeah, that's when we'll say. So this movie co-stars um, Geoffrey Rush as Lionel Logue, who was Albert's speech therapist. So basically, what happens in this movie is that so Prince Albert has a speech impediment. He has a huge, well, should I say had instead, because this actually happened. It was based on a true story. So he had a, a bad speech impediment, not just socially awkward, you know what I'm saying, just quiet, you know what I'm saying, stutter a little bit, or like a little bit of a fear of public speaking. No, he had a horrible fear of public speaking, and he had a horrible stammering problem, and he that affected his job, because he was a member of the royal family. He had to give speeches and stuff like that. So um his wife sets him up with Lionel Logue, who was a speech therapist, to help Prince Albert speak more clearly, and help him improve his speech. And yeah, so the reason why she's so rushed to do this is because so Prince Albert's older brother is about to marry somebody, like marry some woman that the royal, if a royal were to marry back then, they wouldn't be able to be king or queen or whatever. Yeah, I think that's what happened. Yeah, I think that's what happened. And so she was just like, if he's gonna have to end up being the king, then he's gonna need to be able to improve his speech. And this movie is fantastic. It's great. Um, Everything in here is great. Not everything in here is masterpiece material. There are a few scenes that are masterpiece material, but not every scene in here is masterpiece material. But every scene in this movie is great. This is a great movie. It was one of my favorite movies of 2010. Okay, it is one of my favorite movies of 2010. It's not my favorite movie of 2010 though, but it's one of my favorites. It's probably in my top 10. So the best thing about this movie, in my opinion, is the chemistry between Albert and Lionel Logue, aka Prince Albert, and his speech therapist. The way they interact with each other, the way they act around each other, just the way they communicate. it's awesome. It's great. I flipping loved it, and they both like, you know, both Colin Firth and Geoffrey Rush, they both gave equally great performances. Equally great performances. They both were fantastic. This movie has strong acting in it. This movie has strong and clever dialogue in it. This movie has everything great in it. And this is just a great movie, and it was better than I expected it to be. I expected it to be great, but not as great as it was. This is just a great film. And, you know, they just take the idea of improving one's speech and, like, you know, make it like 1,000,000,000 times more interesting than it would sound. Like, if somebody was just like, oh, we're just gonna make a movie about somebody, like, improving their speech, you know, like, I would probably be like, yeah, they could really make that work, but, like, I know that a lot of people would just be like, what? How would that make a whole movie? But no, they nailed it. This is an awesome movie with strong performances, clever performances, great ending, great beginning, great everything. I loved this movie. It's great. I enjoyed it. And, you know, the writing is just so clever, and I just love this movie. I loved it. It's, like, really engrossing. Like, it'll keep you, like, it'll keep you focused. You want to know what happens. And, like, you know, the ending is just so satisfying. This whole movie is just so satisfying. And the editing is fantastic too. Just the way everything is edited, the way the scenes are put together. It's just terrific. This is a terrific movie. It's a great movie. I loved it. I know I've said that like 1,000,000,000 times, but I gotta keep saying it. I really did love this movie. This movie is just awesome. Which is why I'm going to give it an 87% out of 100%, which is the equivalent of an A-. Like, subscribe to the notification squad will return.